Hello and welcome to another episode of me painting again. Oh yeah, we're painting again. And we've got a few colours on the palette, some yellow, some burnt sienna, some burnt umber, alizarin crimson, some ultramarine blue and some white, titanium white. And I've just put some liquid white all the way over this. All the way over. And I'm going to have a go at doing a wintry scene. I want to do, because it's nearly Christmas, I want to do some, like a mountain here and then a cabin. I like painting those cabins and I like painting mountains, so let's do another one. Let's get some ultramarine blue, a little bit of this burnt umber, brown and blue. Brown and blue, and that way, hey look, you get a nice grey, and then you can make it a bit warmer or colder. But I want this to be wintry, so cold, a nice cold colour, cold, make you shiver. So I'm just tapping the bristles to get an even distribution of colour. Tap, 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 tappy, tappy, tap. And then let's start in here. And it mixes with the white. I'm not too worried really. I'm just seeing what happens shape-wise when I'm loading my brush and then just throwing it on and seeing what happens. And they can be a bit random in places. And now what I'm going to do, just get a bit of paper and just take off the excess paint, and then we can just brush this, blending it, just using crisscross strokes. And then some of the light areas stay light, and some dark areas will have that shape. I quite like doing it like this sometimes because it kind of paints itself. And just doing like loopy strokes. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, I quite like that dark there, so I might go with that and expand that a little bit, because we've got some big snowy clouds, so I'm going to have my snowy cloud in there, right there. Dark and snowy. Pull it down a bit. It's coming down there. The fall has happened. The weather looks a bit like it's sleeting, maybe raining. Maybe it's before the snow. It started raining. I remember when I was a kid and I'd see on the weather forecast that it was going to snow. I used to get really annoyed when it rained because I used to think, oh, it's not going to settle now. And I wanted to make a snowman. Just wisping that up a bit. Lift it up a bit and across. I quite like that. I'm not going to mess with that because I quite like that shape. Maybe I'll have a bit more shape over here. Just tapping. Just tapping that. More of a, let's lift that up again. really light over that. What do I think? I think that should, oh, it's connecting there. Yeah, it is now. Yeah, I like that. And then we can sort of think about whether we want some light hitting some of these clouds. Maybe using the 1-inch brush we can get a bit of white. Well, this 1-inch brush, I picked it up off the floor. It is a bit solid. I'm not going to use that one. And this one's a bit better. Bit of white, bit of titanium white. Pull it in one direction. I'm going to go straight in and maybe I will have a bit of light on this cloud here. And then I just knock the paint off on the paper towel, then I go back into some fresh colour and go again with a bit of light. That's nice. You can do layers of this as well. Maybe I could, yeah, I could do that going up there. Obviously you don't have to add any light in the cloud, you can have it all nice and dark, and sometimes I just like adding a bit of light here and there, just to add a bit more interest. Maybe a bit there. And that way you can also create loads of layers. Mix that up in between there. Bit here as well. Yeah, I think I'll do, because what we're going to do is going to put a great big mountain in. So I don't want to do too much, because then it'll, if I do too much, it tends to get wasted. So I'm going to lift the cloud up a bit with this brush. Just lift it up a bit there. Don't really like that bit there, just get rid of that. Just mixing it away. Ooh. Oh, I like that. I like that now. I'm going to stick in. Do you stick or twist? I'm going to stick. I quite like that. There's enough there to add a bit of interest in the sky. And then now I can start thinking about the old mountain. I'm like, where can I have the mountain? Now I was sort of looking at this painting that I'd previously done, and I was thinking, oh, I could do a winter version of this and have a few trees at the bottom of a mountain. I kind of want a cabin as well, so I thought about a winter version of this. I might do another version, not quite the same, because I want a nice mountain in there. Let's paint the mountain and see what happens. So I'm going to grab myself a bit of this brown, a bit of this blue, a bit of the red, Let's make a mountain colour here. Use all this as well. Might as well use it all. Nice and dark. Probably a bit more red and blue. So we can use this colour for the trees as well. Any darks that we want, we've got this colour. There we go, nice and dark. That's quite a nice colour, I think. We'll try it. Cut across, little roll of paint, and we'll, how about the mountain peak? Maybe here. And then there. Sort of looking at that mountain that I liked, but then not necessarily copying it exactly, because you know what it's like when you start painting, you start thinking, oh, I could do this, I could change that. Getting a bit more paint, make that a bit more, there we go, I can see that now. You're focusing on that outside edge, and then it doesn't really matter what goes on in this bit because you're going to pull it all down anyway. So this could sort of go like that. Maybe there's another bit there. And then quite like the idea of that mountain going sort of behind there. It goes like that, and then this goes like that. Taking a bit of inspiration from my other painting. Let's have a look right over here. Maybe we can just go whoop there as well. Get a bit of mountain practice. Okay, so I'll just scrape off the excess paint, and then using my 2-inch brush, grab my paper towel and just knock off the excess paint on a paper towel, and then I can do this throughout, so when I'm pulling this down, zip, zip. Okay, and then down here, wee. And then, so you're doing two things really when you do this. You're removing excess paint so the next layer sticks, and also you're practicing with your shape, working out where your highlights and shadows are going to go. Are they going to go this side or this side? I'm going to have my highlights this side today because I'm right-handed and it's easier. Only joking. Well, it is actually easier, but it's just the way I want it today. Quite a lot of them I do on the other side, I don't know why. Make it hard for myself. Anyway, there we go. At the base it's nice and light. That looks like it could make a good mountain. Let's gonna give my knife a wipe, and then pick up some white. Might use it over here. And a bit of red. Get a bit of red in it. Only a little bit. Just thinking I could warm it up a bit. Maybe there's a bit of warm light on there. It's quite nice actually. Cut across. Maybe it's too pink. I'm not sure. We'll try it. Let's see what it looks like. Cut across, a little roll of paint like always, and then really light, no pressure, and you can let it just slide down the mountain. It's on there as well. But you make the paint break just by the light pressure, and then the paint has to have a sort of a thickness to it, otherwise it doesn't work. I'm sure you know anyway. I tried with a thin oil paint once when I was first learning, and I really struggled. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't know how they do this. It's not working for me. And there we go, and then a bit of light on this bit there. Oh, that's nice. Quite like that mountain, that's looking pretty good. I feel like I could have a bit more here. Might add a bit more there, just to... How's that looking? Yeah, I kind of feel like this needs another bit. I want to do another bit there. A little bit of light there, hitting that piece. And then on the top there. So you can get really really into this and start going, oh yeah, I'll have a bit of light there. I'll bring that light there. And you could take that around behind there as well. And you could really start getting into it. And then what I want to do is get a little bit of the blue and the white. So I've got blue and white. Just use some of that colour, mix it together, it doesn't really matter. Probably look nicer with a bit of red in the blue. And we can get a little bit of that there. So we've got some deeper blue in there because I didn't mix it up very well. But that kind of works, doesn't it? It looks nicer. Looking for these areas where it's a bit colder, like this there. Have that a bit colder there. And then I can use my strokes. I know I'm not using a brush, so I'm not really using brush strokes, but I'm using the knife to pull that paint. And then up here, the peak of the mountain, we can pull that down as well. Not quite sure why it didn't pick up any paint there. Well, we can sort that out, no problem, just add a bit more. And then this bit can go shh. There we go. Just getting a bit more of the colour, a bit more of the blue, a bit more of the white. And then we can do this bit here where it goes down. And this bit here. And we've got this one, so we're going to have to put some there. Pull that bit down there. And then there's this as well up here. And then you can stand back and have a look and go, actually, I want this in front of this. So I can go, so that pushes that back a bit. And you can even get some dark. This is something that I do sometimes. You can get some dark and you can come back and go, oh, I'd like it to be a bit darker there. I've kind of put a bit too much blue. So you can go back and put a bit of dark on, and then that can break up some areas. Oh, that looks good. And it can add a little bit more to your mountain. I'll leave that one though, because that's further away, so I don't want to mess with that too much. Yeah, I'll go with that. That's quite good. Just well, actually what I would like to do is just clean up some of the edges a bit. Some of these bits sort of just need a bit more. And you sort of just look at your mountain and imagine the snow on the top, and it sort of goes over there and down. Yeah, I like that. I'm leaving that one. This one needs a bit more snow on it, doesn't it? There we go. There we go. A bit more snow on that. A bit more there as well. Wherever you want more, you can put it on, can't you? Something else I like doing. This is another bit extra. Let's get some more. Like this is the just white now, just white, and you can even go over this again and add some really cold white on top of this here and there. So you're getting the white and the pink, and you're getting different blues and darks. And it sort of hits certain areas. Yeah, something like that. I'm going to leave that. I keep telling myself, leave that. Leave the distance ones. Don't mess with those. It's easy for me to do that. Right, using a 2-inch brush, I'm just going to lift up. Sometimes I tap like this. Sometimes I just go straight for it and just lift it up. Soften it. That one in the distance can be softened. Okay, just sort of stand back, have a look at that. Could probably soften that a bit more. You have to be really light because you don't want to be moving the paint too much. You're just moving it a little bit. There we go. And then what I'll do, I'm going to get a bit of snow. It's pinky white, and I'm going to bring the snow down around there. Probably should get a bit of dark actually. Get a bit of dark, and otherwise the snow is not going to really show up. I want a bit of dark, so it goes up there and then just separating the mountain. Probably have some shadow on one side anyway. How's that look? That looks quite good. Just sort of blend that edge a bit, soften that edge a bit. Okay, so I need a separator, and that is going to be my trees. So get some dark. And on the fruit, is that number 6? I think it's a number 6 actually. Number 6 fan brush. You can use any fan brush, doesn't really matter. I'm going to have some trees. Do I do a whole line of them, or do I just do a few? I'm tempted to do a few over here, like this, just pulling down and going like that, and then sending them smaller and smaller over there. And go really small there. And then maybe I'll do some here as well. And a little... If you've never done these trees before, all you do is you touch, pull down like that, touch and pull down, and you do them all different heights. All like that. Maybe they can go over there. So we've got like another layer there. I just do that. I got carried away, you see. I meant to stop around there, but I started enjoying it, and you start going, and before you know it, you've done a forest. And then using my big 2-inch brush, just tap the base of those. There we go. Just stand back, have a look. You know what I want to do? Something a little tricky. Get a bit of light, a little bit of light, and just in there. And then I'll have it along there. But it just gets that bit there, that bit of snow, just behind that tree. You can make it sort of get softer. And then what I'm going to do is come back with my my fan brush and just put my trees in like there. So you're just getting another little bit of a layer there. You don't have to do that. It's just something I like doing, is getting loads of layers in. Right, now what I wanted to do is get a cabin in somewhere as well. So if I had a cabin, if I had a cabin, maybe there would be one here. So I'm just using the knife just to scrape off an area. Just sort of stand back, have a look at that. Would that be a nice place for a cabin? Yeah, I think it would, wouldn't it? There's something you want to do when you're doing your cabins. It's something that I used to struggle with. Is the roof wants to be angled downwards, down there, because you imagine the horizon line try and get your perspective. I mean, you do your best. At the end of the day, it's an old cabin, so I'm getting some brown. Might put a bit of this dark in with the brown actually. A bit of brown and a bit of that dark. Cut across a little roll of paint, and we'll do this underside there. And then this is an old cabin, so we're not fussed about the imperfections, he says, as he's like, oh, that doesn't look right. Well, it doesn't really matter too much because you can add to it, can't you? You can just add and change it and stand back and look at it and go, oh, well, it's an old cabin, that's why it's all wonky, so we don't want to worry too much. And then, using a bit of the burnt sienna, a bit of white in it, a bit more white. Well, that's nice, getting a bit more of a wooden look, and then we can go can't really see that much. I'm going to go straight into my put a bit of red in it as well, straight into my white there. I'm going to make it more visible. There we go, we can see that a bit better. Just light pressure, I'm just pulling that down and it's sort of mixing a bit with the colours, and then just use the knife to create the old board look. There's some old boards there, honest. It's not just paint. Just scraping in stuff, scratching it in. And then get some of this dark with the brown. It's almost black, that colour. And then we can put a door in. If you get anywhere else, you can just scrape it off. Door. Yeah. Tempted to put a window. I got this yellow, might as well, hadn't I? Bit of yellow. I could do with a bit of red in with the yellow. Crimson and some of the yellow. Just crimson in to warm it up a bit. Might have a window here. Bit of light coming out that window. Maybe there's a window at the front as well. And one there. And you can see the light coming out of that one. Problem is now I'm starting to think, oh, could have some light coming out of the side of the door. The bottom of the door. Let's just whip that off. Let's leave it at that. I quite like that. And then we need a bit of snow. I'm going to need some more white. Gonna need some more snow on there. Get a little bit of that blue and white. Bit of blue and white. Bit of blue and white there. Cut across. Little roll of paint. And get this roof. It's quite good actually. And then need a bit of white and pink. I mean white and a bit of red in it. Might leave it at that actually. It's only got a little bit of red in, so I thought maybe it'll stand out. Can we see that? Yeah, you can see that all right. Might put a little bit in the front as well there. Yeah, I think that's all right, isn't it? Just adding a little bit more there. And we want a little bit of a chimney. I haven't actually painted the brown, but I've done the top there. And I can get a little bit of brown now and just there's a bit of a chimney. And the lights are on, so I want a little bit of a bit of smoke coming out of there. Now, using a 1-inch brush. Let's use a 1-inch brush. Get some white. I want the snow. The snow's sort of going up here. Going along like that. The snow and then it's going. Looks like they're snowed in. The snow's getting quite thick. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice little cabin out there now. And then what I'm going to do, I feel like putting some trees. Get some blue and crimson and brown. Blue, crimson and pen umber. More of the blue and the crimson. It makes a nice dark. The blue makes it cold. Makes it chilly. That's what we want, nice cold. Do I do like a tree? Or do I do, yeah, let's do a. There's one planted right there. Maybe there's another one that goes right there. Could have 2 trees there. And I want one here as well that goes something like that. And the branch. So what you can do when you load your brush with quite a lot of paint, there is quite a lot of paint on there. If you use light pressure first, you can get your thinner branches and then when you come down you can go press harder and you get the thicker ones, so you can do it all on one with one brush. You don't need like multiple brushes. And think about trees that you've seen that you like and have a go at painting them in, or just make them up. I like that tree. This tree needs a few more branches that go. Oh, that mountain's been covered now, hasn't it? Oh well, never mind. You can put in all kinds of little branches all over the place. I remember this time when I was out in the snow, because I was thinking, oh, I want to do a painting of some snow, so I can't wait to see all the shadows and stuff. And I was looking at the ground, I was like, where are the shadows? And there wasn't any. I was amazed, although it's not going to be like that in this painting, because I feel like there could be a nice shadow going along here. Yeah, and I was like, oh, there's no shadow. And it was because there was light bouncing everywhere, because of the snow everywhere. That's why there was no shadow, because the snow was bouncing the light and getting rid of all the shadows. I suppose it would have been different if the sun was out. If the sun came out and blasted through, that would have had a few shadows then. I must have gone out at the wrong time. Anyway, so we're just faking it a little bit with imagining the sun's just hitting a few areas. Just getting my liner brush and putting in a few extra branches. Wherever you want a branch to go, just put them in. You could spend ages doing branches, and it's good fun to do that actually. And you can wiggle them in, or have them straight, or just finishing like that, wiggling off. And the more you put on, the better it looks. It starts making the tree look really good. More branches, and you could have them going like that. You see, I would never have thought of painting a branch like that when I first started painting, because I'd be like, oh no, that's not very good, it doesn't look right. But you get branches and they go everywhere. And I used to live in this area where it was very woody and not farms, and I used to sit in the trees and paint. And I used to look at all the branches, and I used to think to myself, well, that's not like the trees that I've been painting. The branches are all over the place. I thought they all grew towards the light. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, I don't know. But all I know is they were everywhere. See how the more branches you put in, the more it starts to look good. And then you can get a bit of snow as well. Get a bit of snow. Maybe there's some snow on this tree on this side here. You can add bits of snow. Maybe the snow's fallen and landed in that bit. Maybe it's landed on this branch. Maybe this branch has got snow all over it. And these little white bits. Maybe that has. But yeah, it really starts to come together, doesn't it? Hope you've enjoyed this video. I've tried to add a little bits of extra things for you. If you're a beginner and you've never painted before, you could do this. Just takes a bit of time. So you're getting a break in the shadow there. Right, now what I might do, because I would say the snow would kind of go just softening that a bit, bringing the snow up a bit. Bring the snow right up to there. Yeah, so what I was thinking of doing is getting a bit of a shadow going. Well, a bit of shadow colour I should say, and just kind of imagining the path that goes up there. But there's so much snow falling, it's hard to tell, isn't it? A little bit more light there. So just sort of stand back, have a look at that. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice actually. The only thing that I probably would do, just to add a bit more, is get the knife, get a little bit of this light colour, and I could sort of do a bit more of this on this tree here. Just add a bit more detail on that tree, and then you can always do this one as well. Just using the detail knife. Just add a bit more detail to the trees. I think that'll do for today. He says, as he gets a little bit of blue and starts thinking, oh, I could have a bit of bluey colour there, or maybe I could have a bit of blue there, just along there. But no, I'll leave that. I'll soften that shadow as well. Yeah, so I think I'm going to call that one finished. Maybe I'll add a few little things growing there. I always see some stuff like that on the bottom of trees anyway. So yeah, we'll call that one finished. So I'll say thanks very much for watching this one, and I'll see you at another one. I'm just going to put my little JB down here. And I'll see you at the next episode. Hopefully the audio worked out okay with the new mic, and don't forget to give us a like. Cheers, bye.